So today, Jacob, hi. I guess this is going to be your first official lesson. Today, we're going to go a little bit on the deep end. Face feels funny. We're going to go a bit on the deep end, but I will go over slowly what we're going to be doing. And I mean, it's going to look just like my regular setup, just basically almost everything's the same as I'm not centered. And basically, we're going to be taking apart a vintage Soviet USSR watch. This I'm gonna have to go over very slowly. I practiced this one quite a few times, and it's not much that meets the eye. You'll just be really excited to see what's on the inside, and I'm gonna go over every step, every detail. I'll kind of walk you along. I'll do it really slow. I'll explain to you what part means what, which goes where, what goes where, and all that jazz. So while we're at it, wearing my RM, of course, and we'll just get straight into it. Let's go, Jacob. You got this. On the bench, we will call it, I have a few tools of mine that I always use. I always use my H1 tweezer. They're Swiss. So in case ever, let's go back up here for a second. If ever we get to the point where I allow you to come into my home, I will let you borrow my stuff while I'm supervising you, of course. So I'm going to go over where things are kept. This is probably a very good first step. So this first drawer here on my beautiful cabinet, which they all run away from you, kind of like my dad. These are where my tweezers are. So they're sorted out by their gauge. I almost said caliber. That's watches. And I'll show you which ones we've got in here. So we have in the first one, or my H1 tweezer. These are by Dumont. They are Swiss. Everything I use is Swiss. This is a number 2 tweezer. I have 2 of these because when I was learning, apparently I double ordered on number 2. And the last one we have is 5. These are needle nose, and you fucking stab yourself with these, you're going to be in a world of pain. These are tools, not toys, Jacob. So now next, here is where my hand setting tools are. So for example, we will be doing hand setting today. Sorry, I got a bit of a cold, but you'll see them. I got the 3 different sizes. That's in the drawer opposite of that first one. I'm going to clean you guys up here so you can see a little better. Is that better? No, it's not. Now this drawer is the watch movements we just did on the last live. These are nice. So you got your Sellita SW200 automatic. You've got your Miyota 2813 or whatever. We've got your Sellita SW210 Swiss. And we have your Rolex 3135 movement. That's in the drawer below the tweezers. Tools, not toys. That's empty. This one I use for like corpses of watches and stuff when I'm working on them. And then just below the one with the hand setting tools, I have cases, case backs, and stems. Here, where the movement holders. Not the movement holder. You got your Rodico, which is like a putty that helps you pick shit up. We won't be using that today. We've got your pieces for the watch. We have a brand new dial. We've got the oil tip thingy boppers. And we have the beautiful hands for that future watch you're going to build eventually, when I allow you in the house. And now the drawer, big drawer below it, has the case back opener and a couple cleaning cloths. The one under that has the baskets for cleaning watches and a case in case you want to make a movement. We've got the little mesh baskets, and we've got the most important, my Rolex case back opener. And on the desk, we've got my 2 movement trays. what is this? This I use to cover the dial so it doesn't scratch it up. So these are the 2 parts trays. We've got my Swiss screwdriver set. We've got the Magic Air. And we've got a dust cover. So all of this stuff cost me about $1,000. Oh, also the mat, this white thing I've been working on through my lives, is also a part by Bergeon. Or not Bergeon, Selvit. It's Russian or some shit. So let's get into doing this. I'm going to go really slow, and I will go over. Oh, also, top drawer just has links. Other bullshit that's not important. My sunglasses for some reason, but let's start on this, Jacob. So right here, we have the beautiful mat. This is anti-bounce, so I just proved the wrong point. I didn't prove the right point on that, but this is to stop stuff from bouncing and boinking and getting all fucky-wucky. So let's start by opening this case back. This is a case knife, which, by the way, also, Jacob, I got your little baby in here. Don't worry. This will be coming back to you soon. It's in great condition, ticking and talking away. Beautiful. A couple of the numbers fell off because of age and shit like that. But, sorry, getting sidetracked. So how are you going to want to open this up? This isn't with all watches. This is just with vintage. You're going to want to just press it up against. You'll feel the groove, and then you just kind of wiggle it. A lot of dead skin on that one. Going to just do that a little bit. Case back's open. Now you can put this in the top drawer. And now how do you want to get this out? So what you want to do is you're going to want to grab your tweezers, which I fucking forgot about. And these. Great. This can go on the side. How you're going to want to do is you're going to first want to get this crown and stem. This is the stem and crown. But even further before that, you're going to want to, you can hear it whine, yeah? You're going to want to get this click. This is called the click, very obviously. So you're going to want to rotate the click to right before when it makes that click. You're going to want to do this. Grab the click on this side and then slowly loosen the grip on your hands. Got to make sure that's all out. And then you can remove this crown and stem. By pushing this little button here, you can kind of see, you press that down, and then you just pull it out. Now this watch is 70 years old, so you got to be a little forceful with it sometimes. This is your stem and crown. This is the crown. This is the stem. It's a dick, basically, for your watch. So now that it's a girl, how you want to get the dial out is you see these little clamps here. You're going to push in, lift up. Oh, let's try that again. Lift up, and then there's one on the other side. You get it out just like that. So call it a movement holder or a dial cup holder, whatever the fuck I call it. But you can see there's rust. This is from the USSR, so you can kind of get that rust off, but I like having the patina on it. Now, what you can do is you can turn the watch face over, and now the body of the watch is out. Remember that one that I showed you that was empty? This is where we put the deceased watch parts at the moment. Get that out there. Now we've got to do the hand removal. So I'm going to leave that drawer open slightly. Now this is where this comes into play. Now I don't have any hand removing tools, so it's going to look a little barbaric. And I'm just going to see, I placed that paper on top, and then I'm going to grab at the base below the base for the hands, and I'm just going to wiggle them on up just like that. And that. You put these back, and they're color coordinated for me because I got a bad memory. But usually they're color coordinated. Now you're going to want to grab this box once again. And you got to be very careful with these tweezers, Jacob. So we're just going to carefully pick that up. And we're not making sure we don't scratch this dial. I chose this one because this isn't too complicated. This is a very simple watch to work on, okay? And this may seem very dead end, but I'm going to explain to you every step of the way. See, I've spent 10 minutes and we're still not even close to being open yet. So now you'll see, oh Lord, if I can find one right there. Here, there's a little screw, right? There's one here. Let's see, where's that? And then there's another one here. Those hold this thing in. That's called the dial. This big circle here is the dial, or you can call it the face. It's called a dial in the terminology. And so what you're going to do is, I'm going to let you practice on this one, but I got to watch you carefully. Grab the yellow screwdriver. They're basically gauged on their tip size. That's what she said. And you're just going to want to pop it in. God, this is a really dirty conversation. I'm going to move it down to yellow. I thought I was using yellow. And we're just going to slightly unscrew it. We're not going to fully unscrew. So actually unscrew that. Okay. Then you're going to want to do the other side, but you're going to want to have a firm grip on it, right? Gotta get its fit in there. And now your dial's off. So those screws were holding these things in. These things are called dial feet. And the screws stay in the watch. You don't fully unscrew the watch. Sorry, movement. This is now called a movement. And you're going to want to either put this in watch paper, which I will do today. The issue is it's like literally this came in, right? This watch paper came in. And it's, you know, those tissue papers they made you work on as a kid in fucking elementary school. And they're like, okay, let's do some weird fucking Día de los Muertos, Day of the Dead bullshit. Let's make a piñata because that's, of course, in correlation with dead people. Día de los Muertos? De Muerto? Oh, shit. This little guy came on. I'll be 1,000% honest with you. I've been doing this for a little while. I still have no idea what the fuck that's called. Oh, we're going to place it face up in the watch paper. Literally tissue paper, but there's like 1,000 sheets of this. So I've got quite a few of these in case you mess something up. Or you just want to fuck around with paper. I do that a lot. I like to play with paper. And then you're going to want to make sure it's all nice and snug in there. It's like a suicidal bug in a rug or something. Okay, now it's in that paper. We're going to place it in that dust cover I told you about. Whoopsie daisy. There goes the air magic bladder blower. We're going to be setting this off to the side, place this back in the carousel of screwdrivers. And now we're going to get our parts trays. Now, I like to lay them out, but I have a better idea. So we're going to take this apart. Now this thing is called a movement holder. I was beating the shit out of this in the last one. But we are already starting to see some parts here. Now, I call this a hand setting bushing. I don't know what it is. It's just a fancy gold thing. But it's like a bushing. Now, this is your thingy-madoodle. No, I'm kidding. This is what your hands rest on to tell the time. So this is a wheel. We call them wheels and not gears. I learned that the other day. Just kidding. I knew about it. So now you're going to want to grab your movement holder, place this on top. Now that we've released the mainspring, which is what we let out the wind in the beginning of this. It's my hair. In the beginning of this, we let out the wind so nothing flies away. And now here's the fun part. So this right here is a cannon pinion. So, I mean, there's really no way to explain it. you just gotta pop her on off like that. That is usually what your seconds, no, your hour, whatever. One of the hands hold it, and it's just part of the time setting thing. Now we're going to grab the yellow screwdriver again, and we're going to work on the keyless. So that was the time stuff. Now we're going to work on the keyless works, which is what helps you set and remove the time. Set or change the date, and wind. Now we're just going to, I'm going to buy a new movement holder, so I might give you this one anyway. We're just going to unscrew the 2 screws that hold this son of a bitch in place. It's not going to be a easy feat. You do need to work on your tweezering skills. So we're going to go up a screw size. And move that back to the carousel. Now you just got to like be very gentle with this. And as you'll see on the desk, I will sort them out by their nothing flew. That's good. This is a plate or a bridge. I call this like a front plate. Now we can get the rest of this, the wheels out of the time setting. And this is also time setting stuff. Now this, I know this looks interesting because this also came off the time setting stuff, right? But no, this is part of the keyless. So I'll show you in a second what engages with the keyless for it to do its thing. So this is a spring, right here. There's a little weird spot. So how I do this is I like to place my finger in there. That came out the other way. I didn't want that to come out like that, but it did. And you just kind of strategically, you'll learn over time. You just got to strategically get that in the proper placement. Now, you can either categorize this with the date time setting or the keyless. I like to just set it as its own little, in its own little world. Whoops. And I think it's just easier that way. So now this is part of the keyless works. This is what controls whether, if it wants to wind, it'll stay closer to the, it'll stay closed, in other words. And then when you pull it out one, then you want to change the time. It's kind of like your watches with the date, but this one doesn't have a date. So now we're going to want to get the clutch and the crown, one of the wheels. This is your clutch wheel or clutch tube. And this is just your guiding thingy bopper doodle. It's a hat, basically. Now, since you notice there's bigger screwdriver here, you're going to want to go up to either pink, well, and have flying movements. That's not a thing. Pink fits perfectly. So we're just going to unscrew this. This is another bridge. It's quite easy to tell that it's a bridge because it's got a little bridge to it. This is part of the keyless works. I'm going to call this a keyless cover. I'm coming up with these as I go. And this is a kind of like a hammer, I call it. It helps you differentiate the settings between whether or not it wants to go to a different setting. It'll like click forward. I'll show you when it's finished. So now we're done with the dial side. So this is the dial side. Next is probably the part you've been wanting to do, which is the work side. Okay, we're going to put the pink one back. We're going to go to white because white is your friend. First off, you're going to want to get this part right here that I showed you the click. It has a little spring under it, but I know they don't look like springs, but they are springs. They are considered springs. If they have tension, I believe it's a spring. Whoopsies. Or if you're just really shitty with screws and screwdrivers, they're just it. This is where you want to make sure the wind is out. Oh shit, I guess there was still wind in it. That was my bad. Now, if that happens quite a bit, like if it has a full wind, that could mean disaster. But luckily, it just released the rest of its wind. This is called the barrel setup. The mainspring. This is a main. You'll find out in a second. So this you'll see is quite large for this screw size. No, it's actually one too low. We're going to go back to pink. And we are going to unscrew this plate. Right? Okay. By the way, I'm using my H tweezer, the H1. So the first one is my new favorite. Now we're going to take this guy off. This is the ratchet wheel. That's called a ratchet wheel. That basically interacts with this click spring and makes, it's like a ratchet strap, the click sound, right? That interacts with this click right here. Now I'm going to use the crown wheel. So you remember this gear here? This wheel connects with this gear, and this allows this to change its little doodad. Oh, whoops. That goes in the keyless works. Now what's nice about this, you see this differentiating looking screw. This different screw has the 3 little lines on it. Trying to get a good angle. I can't see what you're saying, so I'm going to pull the live up on my phone. My mom's getting home, and she's going to be loud as shit, so excuse me. Let's do this. Here we are. Let's see what you can see. Okay, you got a good angle. How about that? So this is a crown spring, or excuse me, it's crown screw. So this is a reverse threaded screw. And so you're going to want to just screw it to unscrew. I'm going to mute here for a second, and you will, I'll unscrew this while I'm muted, and I'm going to be a little bit, I got to talk to Mom for a second. Okay, sorry about that. So I placed everything here with the barrel set up. Now you can see all that's gone. Now this is, remember what I said that was a bushing? This is a bushing. It's quite a large bushing, which goes in that, as you saw. I don't know why it's a bushing. People call them washers, but it's a bushing. If it helps you just to remember it as a washer, you can remember it as a washer. Now we're going to get this bridge set up here. Make sure you can see this. Yeah, okay, good. So we're going to use the pink screwdriver. Let's see. Yes, that fits really well. Pink screwdriver. This is also going to go with this. So we're just to unscrew. There's 3 screws that hold this in. And yes, it may look like a mess here, but I know what screws go where. And it takes a little bit of time to get to it, but you'll note it. You'll know it as we go along. So right now we're not going to go over watch brands and watch stuff. We're just going to slowly work on this together. I practice doing this. This one is even good for an issue we can both diagnose. I'll teach you how to diagnose that together with me. Okay, now that we've got these 3 screws out, right, we can lift this up. See this big spot? Just dig the tweezers on under here. You got to remember that these are very delicate and fragile. You're just going to want to not do it like that because you just fucked everything up. Hopefully that's right. Yeah. Messed that up. My bad. Notice how nothing bounced though? Okay, everything. So this, sorry about that. This is the cover, the bridge. We're going to place that with the stuff. See, now we're to the wheels. And before we want to get the train of wheels out, they call it a train of wheels. I don't know why it's just called the train wheel. You're going to want to start a new section here. This is the 2 screws holding this down. So you're going to want to place these, whoops, next to this side. And this holds down a few wheels here, which is why it's called the train of wheels. Now you do kind of got to be delicate with this, although this is only a $35 watch off of eBay. I love this watch a lot. I just need a new part, which we're going to get to. Oh, come on. That fell off. I didn't mean for that to happen. So here's the train wheel bridge. You've got your center wheel, your thingy wheel. This is your very important piece. This is called an escape wheel. You'll understand in a second. And this is your minute wheel, I believe. Geez, I did all of that just to get that screw out, and it didn't come out. Okay. There's the second screw for that. Where's the first one? No, there's 2 there. Now we can get the mainspring barrel, this, out and place it with that category. I know it's weird because we took it out with this stuff, but it should look like it should go there. But no, it goes here. Now we can get the balance cock, the balance bridge, if you want to call it, and start a new section here. And it seems weird that there's only 2 parts. It's supposed to be 2, but if you notice, this is detached. So usually this is attached to that, but we are missing a part. So it should go, whoops, that's upside down again. But I did find parts for this on Amazon or eBay, excuse me. So it's supposed to sit properly like that together, and that's supposed to be one. But, oh, here's the little gold leafing. I don't know why this is here, but it's there, and it's apart. Maybe like, I don't know. Maybe it's like a whoops. It's just a platform, I guess. Now we're getting to the very delicate part. We're going to go back to, actually, we're going to go to red for this. This is your palette and palette fork. Now this is a very, very fragile part, right? So we're going to want to be extra careful with this. You're going to just take up the bridge just like that. Make good sure that the palette fork, which is Jesus Christ. Must have stuck that bitch in there good. Stuck in here good. Here we go. Palette fork in. Sorry about that. It was really well in there. So now we have the time setting. Your keyless works, which helps you set the time. This barrel bridge, Jesus, she's loud. This, which helps the keyless works work, which could help the time shit work. The train of wheels, which gets this to work, which gets the watch to run. This is what says little click, click, click. Let me show you, for example. Come on, Rolly. Where'd you go? Is this the Rolly? It's the Roly-Poly. If you can see, you can this right here, this spinning thing down here. See if I can get that in better light. That, oh my God, you can't see it that well, but it's rotating. And that is what this is. This train of wheels is what helps keep the time. And that's the little click thingy bobber. So now let's go over how you'd want to put them in the trays. First, I like to use the bigger trays for the bigger ticket items. But for the first one, this is how I was taught, is I'm going to start placing them in their trays. So I'm going to put the time stuff here. The first one. And don't be afraid to have the parts, touch. It's not the end of the world. Now I'm going to place this in with the keyless. We'll set it on. Well, actually, we'll set it on the own tray just for not to confuse you. My mom is so loud. The keyless works will go in this third spot. So you'll notice parts with more sections with more pieces seem like, oh, they won't fit in the basket in the order you have them out. You're right, they don't. But that's why we have the fucking hell, my mom's loud. That's why we have the mom, shut up. That's why we've got the bigger section here for the barrel and stuff. So, no, shit, I'm sorry. You can't see anything that I'm doing. That's not any better. Back to this. So we're going to put the bigger grouping of stuff. The click spring, your click. You got your screws for this. Your washer / bushing. Your crown wheel. Your mainspring barrel. Your screws that associate with the plate. And this is your bridge. It's all right. You can let the parts touch. It's not, it's not the Mona Lisa. You can do the pallet assembly. We're going to want you resting on your back there. And your pallet bridge and the screw for that. Now you're done with parts tray 1. You can place the lid on. And then you can swap over this. And you want to start with your balance cock, balance bridge, and the little platform thingy. It's weird to think this is from the 60s. And then you can place your train of wheels either in this, or if you throat's really dry, sorry, or if you want to not freak out about it, god damn it, you can just place it in the big one. So once again, you've got your, in the order we're going to put it back together again, we are going to start with the train of wheels. But as you remember, as I was taking it apart, right? Give me a second, I need a fucking drink of water. I'll be right back. Throat's hell dry. titties. Damn it, I left the microphone on. All right, sorry. Now I'm back. I just put my drink over here. Okay, now we're back to this. This is called a movement. So this one usually has, I'm trying to get you guys to see this better, or you, Jacob, but guys as well, if anyone's watching. We are going to show you this little guy here that you can kind of see right here. This little black piece right there, that's called a jewel. Now there's a few jewels on this. This is what helps the little pointy tips on the wheels or gears, if you just want to call them gears. That helps keep them smooth, like they keep consistent friction, blah, blah, blah. Now I'm going to show you the order that we do this in. So just pause this if I'm going too fast, or slow down the video when it's a video, not just a live. And pause, take notes, do whatever. But this is a fairly expensive work time. So if ever you want parts, I'll see what I can do. And you've got to have patience, lots of it. I've got 25 more minutes with you. And then, sorry, it's quite a walk. And then I will go over, shut the fucking hell, they're loud. We are going to also use parts tray for the number 1. This is your mainspring barrel. You'll understand the methods to the madness in a bit. So, body, and we are going to take out the train of wheels, or the gear train. If you want to keep calling it that, that's up to you. Escape wheel, minute wheel, your bridge, and your 2 screws. Now, every build that I do, disassembly, reassembly, always the same. Usually, I can either put the escape wheel in first. Where you going? Hold on, where's you going? He's going right there, my bad. You can either place the escape wheel in first. There you go. And then this guy will go up here. Set you perfectly in the spot. They should just drop right into place like that. And then you're going to place your mainspring barrel and the big guy over here. Okay. Now, either you can do it with this one first. This, I got to make sure the gear's pointing towards the bottom, is your second's hand. I'll explain here in a second, no pun intended. Why? Get you to see just right. Mom's on a conference call. With her scrapping group, whatever they do. She did a seminar back in Green Bay. Oops. Remember those jewels I was talking about? These like to rest on those jewels. And those jewels, I've learned recently through up-close study, that they have teeny-weeny little holes in them to help guide the parts. Oops. Just setting up straight, you too. Just like that. Now you're going to place your minute pinion in its little designated spot. Come on, don't fuck me over now. Okay, now you have the train of wheels in place. You're going to take your train wheel bridge, and I'm going to have to rotate this movement towards me a teeny bit, just so I can see where we're doing. So we're going to place one click in there, and there should be another click. Now, you don't screw it in right away. You've got to kind of play around with the gears here. or the wheels. And there eventually should be like an aha moment. Unless I already just fucking put it into place perfectly. Excuse me a second while I adjust all the proper placement. Sometimes there's a certain feeling. Watch your mouth, mother. Okay, sorry. This is quite a grueling task sometimes. You just gotta have them just seated just perfectly. You should hear a proper click. Oh, just had it. Okay. Gotta be just so gentle. There'll be a point where you'll feel the click. You'll know when it's seated properly. This may take quite some time. I'm not gonna lie. Usually the main suspect sometimes just shimmying it can help. However, this minute wheel, the little doodad that helps you with the minutes. By the way, every wheel train is not the same. So they're all a little different. Now, this one has a little bit of a shitty feature to it. It's called being old. And usually the setting. Okay, so we're getting there. You'll feel the click, and it's a really satisfying feeling. There's a way of testing it. Okay, I'm getting it. You'll know when seated. You'll just know. I'm being really quiet right now. I'm going to take this off and we're going to start over. So usually it's the escape wheel, but it's also this guy. Your fucking minutes wheel. Make sure the tips are sharp on that. So this time, this guy will get in your way quite a bit. Just don't let it. Just make sure it engages with the this guy. No, you're not sitting in your friend's spot. Good try. You have assigned seating, okay? Sometimes, like I said, Jacob, this is a game of patience. By the way, you're going to want the gear side down on this, and then it has its own little jewel. That should be sitting perfectly, pretty just like that. Here we go. Now, we can put the fucking piece back on. Not penis, I meant to say piece. Now you can test. Okay, now I'm going to have to get the thing called a loop out. Because this motherfucker does not want to stay. I'm going to get this at an angle really quick. So a loop helps with placement. It magnifies stuff. I don't like to use a loop, but you know, it is what shit, it's almost time. Our time is almost up, but hopefully I do abuse and throw these screws around. If your hands get shaky like mine, just sit back and take a breather. Or you can support your hand with your other one to keep it steady. And it helps you get the placement of these parts just so perfectly. And you have to get super duper close just to get the right focusing. It's like with glasses. Okay, now that these are properly placed, close enough, you can apply these guys. Like I keep saying, almost had it. This fucking minute one keeps getting in my way. We're getting there. There, we got it finally. We did it. Look at that. So you can test this by just spinning this. Now, some gentle persuasion. It just takes a little while just to get to it. That took quite some time. But now that we're happy and cheerful, we can finally screw the bitch into place. Sorry, Jacob. Now, you saw how difficult that could be. Now, I want to know if you can see this. I know it's going to be quite difficult for you to see it, but there are some shit turning in there. You'll see it better when we place the next item on. Now, Jacob, I'm so sorry about how long that took. I've got to go here in 5 minutes, and I will pause this, and it will take a little while, but once we're going to get this bridge on first. Now, this bridge just kind of goes over everything, and there'll be the little screws. You just pop them in that place, and then we're just going to put that right. Sometimes it takes a little click just like that. There you go. Maybe you can see it now. That's how you test it. So that's how you can tell whether or not it's good and in place. Now, remember how many screws we had? We've just got to line them up and make sure they match. So this is not a screw for that. This is your that guy. This I am going to place. You can tell sometimes this is difficult to differentiate. Okay, these three go in. Nice. So now have you noticed I've I nudge the screws kind of in place first, and then I go in with the screwdriver and tighten it, just because I've had screws go missing in the past. So that's one. You're going to want to put all 3 screws in. Whoops. And I recommend you use the number 1 tweezer, the H series, because it will just fit. It'll just pick everything up and do everything properly. So this will be the end of your first lesson. First, we're going to do a review. And no, I'm not going to take this all apart and do it all over again. We're going to save it from this spot. So we went over everything, basically. We've stripped a movement down to its nothing, and now we are to a little bruise on my nose up here, and it's a pain in the butt. But I'm going to mute really. I'm going to finish this up in the comments. I'm going to type this stuff out instead of saying it because I'm going to mute myself real quick.